Today I'm announcing that the Second Step Act will be focused on successful reentry and reduce unemployment for Americans with past criminal records, and that's what we started with. And I'm very proud to say that we're leading the way, but a lot of states are now following us. They're liking it, they're following us, and believe it or not, it's great for our people, it's great for the people that it so deeply affects, but you know, it's also great for the economy. We actually, it's hard to believe, we save a tremendous amount of money because people are coming out with these 40 and 50-year sentences for what you would consider to be everything serious, but not that serious. And they're getting out and they're working instead of being in prison. And we're saving hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars and doing good at the same time. So that's sort of a rare occurrence. Our goal is to cut the rate to single digits within 5 years, and I think that's very, very achievable, especially if the economy keeps going the way it is, and we're going to keep it going the way it is. When we say hire American, we mean all Americans, including former inmates who have paid their debt to society, and they've paid it, in many cases, more than many of the people that we think of in our society. They have really paid their debt. Our bond with our fellow citizens is what stitches us together as one united nation, sharing one common destiny. We will achieve our goal by encouraging employers to adopt second chance hiring practices. That's a movement that's very, very in vogue, but when I say in vogue, it's something that's happening, and it's happening all over. And again, we're going to lead that way, but we are really being studied by a lot of great governors in a lot of states, and some are even with us. I don't want to let them get too far ahead of us because I would hate to have that down. We came in second, that's no good. But they really are, they're doing a fantastic job at the state level. We're also making it easier to work by removing obstacles to securing housing and driver's licenses and occupational licenses, and we're promoting mentorship through proven programs such as prison fellowship, something that people really find very important and very good. My administration is also supporting funding for reentry programs, including $88 million for Second Chance Act. You know that. And an estimated $28 million for the Pell Grants pilot program. Great, great program. And really, I think maybe more than anything else, we're now proving that we are a nation that believes in redemption. To remind us what is possible, we're joined by a couple of people. First of all, is Pastor Scott here? Darrell Scott. Where's Pastor? Is he here someplace? He's worked so hard. I wanted to point him out. Darrell, thank you very much. Thank you, Darrell. Darrell Scott, thank you. Worked so hard. Every time I see him on television, I say, I don't want to go against that guy. He's a tough pastor, a good friend. And also a man who has served time in federal prison, but today he's with us, and he's now a professor of law at a place called Georgetown University, and one of his students happens to be my daughter, Tiffany. So Sean, hey, could I ask Sean to come up, please? Where is Sean? Sean, come up. Is my daughter okay as a student?
She is.
She better be.
It's fun to get to come back here. The one thing I realized when we worked on First Step was I got to meet a lot of really cool people, and we worked on this together, and I have become friends with so many of you. It's astonishing to me that so many people want to come work and help people that are in prison. Because when you're in prison, it feels very lonely, and there's not a lot of hope. And now there is more hope in the federal system than there ever has been at any point since I have been watching. And that's because of the work that everybody in this room has done. Thank you for helping people like me. Thank you for giving second chances. I think you are going to be rewarded in a way that you cannot even imagine when we get more people like my friend Matthew Charles, who, by the way, came over to our house last night for dinner. And you know what my daughter said? My 7-year-old daughter said, "Dad, how do I talk to Matthew? He's so famous." So thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership on this. You have gotten things done that has taken decades of work from a lot of people in this room, and to see the fruits of your labor is just amazing to watch. Thank you, sir.
And the First Step Act proves that really, beyond almost anything we can think of, our country can achieve amazing breakthroughs when we put politics aside and put the interests of all Americans first. It's true, so true, especially in these days. If we work together for the common good, we can forge a future of even greater safety, opportunity, dignity, and freedom for the families across this incredible nation of ours. I want to again thank everybody in the room, everybody for being with us, so many leaders. I see Paula White, she's worked so hard on bringing the faith-based community together. And we're so hard. I want to thank you. I want to thank you. Such a great job. And most importantly, I want to congratulate all of the people that have been so incredibly successful. They've left a place called prison, and as you said brilliantly, they arrived at the White House. They go from prison to the White House, and you know what? You're going to have an incredible future. Everybody in this room, you know who we're talking about, and the people standing on this stage, you're going to have an incredible future, and it's my honor, and it's the honor of all of the folks in this room that have helped to have been part of a process. I think that's going to go down as a tremendous day in the history of our country. A lot of tremendous things are about to happen. Thank you very much.
Joining me now, Byron York, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner and a Fox Business contributor, and his columns are always must read. Byron, thanks very much. And I'll get to one of your columns in just a moment. But I want to put up a tweet that the president sent out about the Mueller report, and here it is. No matter what information is given to the crazed DEMS from the no collusion Mueller report, it will never be good enough. Is that a valid point, that they will never really accept its conclusion of no collusion?
Well, certainly they want to get every single sentence, every punctuation mark in the whole thing. And you're right, if at that point there still is nothing they can use to allege collusion, yeah, they'll still be unhappy. I am one of these people who thinks that the whole report should be released, and the thing that's mysterious to me, it might be to you too, I don't know, is why the report was not prepared with release in mind on the day that it was announced that it was completed. Why we're having this period where they're going through these things that they could have gone through before announcing it was finished, I don't really understand.
Yeah, I mean, Mueller, as a prosecutor for decades, well knows the law about grand jury testimony, unindicted individuals, and classified material. So I think that's a valid point. I did read, I think it's your most recent column, in which you quote Dowd as saying he was, and which is President Trump's lawyer, saying he was told by Mueller in March of last year that they didn't have any evidence of collusion. Expand on that, if you will, because as I read it, it's like, wow, for a year, Mueller has known no collusion.
Yeah. Well, Robert Mueller was appointed in May of 2017. John Dowd became the president's lawyer the next month in June of 2017. And in a long conversation, Dowd told me that by Christmas of that year, 2017, Dowd had all the evidence. He talked to the people at the White House. Mueller had all of that evidence and had talked to everybody. And Dowd felt that Mueller had enough information to decide that there had been no collusion. They had this meeting that's kind of contentious on March 5th, 2017. in which Dowd is urging Mueller to, get on with it. You've got everything, just make a decision and close up. And Mueller was saying, I got to talk to the president. And Dowd was saying, well, look, we gave you everything. We gave you the confidential notes of conversations. We've given you everything. There's nothing more you could really get by talking to the president. And then Mueller said, well, I might have to subpoena him. And that's when things got kind of rough. And Dowd basically said, you do that, you're going to have a war and you're not going to win. So things went downhill in terms of their relationship after that.
But it's truly amazing that, in other words, America had to endure yet another year of the collusion investigation when Mueller well knew that there was no evidence of collusion. I want to turn, if I may, to this debate over classified information. Nancy Pelosi, in February of 2018, so more than a year ago, a year and a couple of months, said this when the president released some classified information. President Trump has surrendered his constitutional responsibility as commander-in-chief by releasing highly classified and distorted intelligence. So wait a minute. Now she wants the Attorney General to release classified information?
I know. Well, there's two big types of material in this report that you have to go through some hoops to release, and one is the grand jury stuff we were talking about, which, by the way, if the Justice Department goes to a judge, they can get permission to release it. That was what happened in the Starr report, lots of grand jury stuff there. And then the other thing is classified information, and I'm really of two minds about that. Some of that stuff undoubtedly is overclassified. I'm sure there's stuff that's classified that doesn't need to be, because you're right, that's always the case. Now, if there is some stuff that Mueller and the Justice Department can make a genuine case that it would endanger some important American national priority, that could be redacted. But I'm not buying the idea that everything that's classified in there has to stay classified forever.
Are you kidding? If the DOJ or the FBI orders Chinese takeout, it's classified because, it's the Chinese.
Remember the stuff that Devin Nunes was trying to get out of the Justice Department, and he had put together a report about how the FISA warrant was prepared and some of the dossier stuff, and basically the Justice Department said the world will end and people will die if this is revealed. The president declassified it, and neither one of those things happened.
Yeah, gee, the Earth did not stop spinning on its axis. We didn't all fall into the sun. Amazing. I was so shocked. Byron York, great columns as always. Thank you so much for being with us.